morning, everyone. Oh my god, it's so dark this morning. Okay, so I'll put a flashlight on. Can I even? Can I do this? No. Open this mirror here. Oh, there we go. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This one I'm making as a statement or like a blast piece, because over the past few days, Mr. JP, traffic official for the city, has enforced stricter enforcement of the current laws. Or there are laws, and it's just more of a stricter enforcement of those laws. So including impounding vehicles for like expired discs and so on. Offences that are like very minor are getting a bigger punishment than they technically should be getting. Now my problem isn't really with enforcing the laws. Enforce the laws. If there's illegal cars on the road and so on, enforce them. I pay my taxes. Can I pay my taxes? Yeah, I pay my taxes, and I keep my license up to date, or at least I try to. My temporary, when my license expires, I put on a temporary and so on and so on. Whatever. Thing is, other people are on the road with the vehicles and so on. But don't be targeting now, guys, at C Point, for example. Easy pickings, low-hanging fruits, when there are much bigger problems and much better ways for them to use the law putters in the morning. So I'm doing my morning trip, and let's just see how much rules you can see being broken on my morning trip to work. One taxi going over the red robot there. Watch. You can't see it from your side, but he's in the turning lane to the right, and he's gonna jump in front once the robot change, because I don't want to sit in this traffic. You can see the other side is green. Let's wait for all the rule breakers today. Right now. A truck driving over the red road on the other side. Are you kidding me? Yes. Okay, green is here, right? Let's take note of this taxi on the left hand side here now. So we're gonna dump here in front. Indicator is on, yes. That's right, I'm here already. Here already. There you go, tapping in front. There you go, another illegal move. Hey, oh, yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine, I don't want to impound that. I should have given him gap, but I was already to the side. Let's be honest here. There's not aggression at all. I swear. So yeah, so he's been enforcing the laws now, and quite strictly. Now he did post, I saw another post where Mr. JP pulled or impounded 41 taxis. I'm not 100% sure it was 41 taxis. Look at that taxi overtaking everybody. Hey, would you see that now? Look at that, overtaking everybody, still going. Okay, 30. Oh, yeah, another word for what the quantums are. Not the quantums, the Avanzas are. For no display of number plates and so on, unroadworthiness. Fine. Now that's the way. When you're going to enforce the rules, enforce it evenly and fairly across. Now, the stance guys and the car community are a bit in uproar because they do feel a bit targeted. But and the main thing is the front number plate, no number plate. Now, here's my problem with that sort of rule enforcement. No front number plate doesn't in any way make the car safer, more safer or less safer. I think the major reason for front number plates is look at this taxi here. Look at that. Oh, another one. Yeah, no. And the robot is right there in front. You can see all the taxis there. Okay. Anyways, look at it all just running in front of the oncoming traffic, also, by the way, past the bus. Anyway, so there is this whole notion of the community feels targeted, because in a sense I can understand. They are going to spots where the guys normally chill, right? Look at this taxi. He wants to jump the red on the left here. Look at that. No, he's fine. No lights also, by the way, at the back. No lights. That's a flipping fine, by the way. Yes. This is just one page that's been going around. A couple of weird ones are the driving in convoy on the weekends. I find that really silly. Because people are just driving behind each other on the weekends. That's what happens on normal roads. So I see the problem there. And the enforcement is going to be very, very like a wide net. So what is happening is, you would think they cast a wide net, right? And they're now enforcing these rules, and they're keeping it to certain parts of Cape Town, when the normal day-to-day roads, like now for example, there is no form of traffic enforcement on the roads now. Why not? Why not? Does the traffic officers only start at like 7 or past 7 on the weekdays, when we need traffic enforcement around the clock? Around the clock. The other morning when I put it on my channel, our lady pulled me over here. Right here, she pulled me over. When people were driving past with no lights on, look at this, no lights on, dipping in front. Look at this now. Look at this now, Mike. Look at this now. Yes, there's no lights, no front or rear lights. It is dark. My goodness, there's another one. That was on emergency lane, just by the way. Just so I don't feel like you don't want to sit in traffic. Anyways, so I'm getting so lost because I keep getting distracted by crappy drivers. Anyway, so yeah, so now it feels like they enforcing the laws a very open casted net. But if you look at it, it's not an open casted net. It's going to Sea Point, for example, where the guys go chill on a Sunday. Now, don't get me wrong, Owens, if you're going there with no front number plate and stuff, you're kind of asking for it. Let's be totally honest here. We all know the rules. We're kind of asking for it. But the front number plate to me isn't very important. I know you guys can't see my face right now, but technically, the front number plate being there shouldn't be such a big deal. It shouldn't be such a big deal. How is it in some countries and some states in the US? For example, there's something that the US does right. I'm not gonna lie. Number one is they don't. In some states, front number plates are not mandatory. They are not mandatory. And you know what? It's not like that state is failing or the car rule enforcement is failing because cars have no front number plate. The no front number plate, to me, their arguments are silly. How come you need a front number plate? How come? To make the car safer, okay? To make the car safer. But that doesn't make the car safer or less safer with no front number plate. The only main thing I think of is when they are setting up speed traps. They set the speed traps up on the highway and wherever from the front, facing the front of the vehicle. Don't come tell me, oh yeah, but a crime can happen, the person can drive away. Look at that proud price on here. The person can drive away and whatever. When the person drives away, they don't reverse away. When ANPR is on the traffic of cars, they don't drive behind you while you're reversing up a street. Because one of the rules, shocker, you cannot reverse for too long. Okay, how is too long? Can someone please tell me how can you be reversing for too long? How long is too long? So now I need to reverse up this one way and I went halfway. This is a one way, by the way. And I came halfway here and I reversed up there. Is that too long? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So the rules are a bit silly in some aspects. Some rules, there are most of the rules that I can be totally fine with. But the front number plate story to me is like, I get it why the rule is there, but I also can see why there is no need for it to be there. There's no need. There's no need for it to be there because it won't change much at all. Now I get that the owners want to look more clean in front because without the number plate it looks super clean. Now okay, why don't JP and the guys come together, find a reasonable middle ground and say, okay, can we by any chance get those sticker number plates? The number plates that are a sticker. Why? And then stick it on the front of the number plate. First of all, guarantee the person will have their front number plate displayed because it's stickered on. If you pull it off, it's gonna break. Look at this taxi with these brights. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at, oh, there we go. He puts it off. Wow, finally. Anyway, so why can't they just, find a happy middle ground, or change the rule for a front number plate is not mandatory. It's not mandatory for like 2 months. See if you make any less money, other than speed traps. They won't catch you in a speed trap. Then you know what you do? Put the speed trap so you face the back of the car. Quick, easy fix. To be totally honest with you guys, it's very chill this morning. Normally taxis are driving all over the place and killing me, and whereas this morning I'm not getting that, but it's most always the case, you know, when I have the camera out and recording, nothing really happens. Nothing really happens. Also, I think the guys are getting impounded, and I think it's like 2,000 rand plus to get the car out. I don't know if that is relative, so when that law is enforced and they go, okay, your impound fee is such an amount, where they look at, okay, you can't maybe afford it, so they make it less, maybe something like that. I don't know if that is the case. If that is the case, that's kind of cool actually. It's cool in a way that if you can afford more, they'll make it more, so you tend not to get your car impounded, so it makes a lot of sense. And other than that, I can't really see major problems. If you're a law-abiding citizen, whereas you tell this price, anyways, if you're a law-abiding citizen, right, and you follow the rules of the law to the T, or as much as you can, you shouldn't have any problems. You shouldn't have any sort of problems at all. Look at this guy on the left here now. Look at this. Are you turning? Okay, you're turning. Very cool. Yeah. You shouldn't have any problems. If you have your front plate on, your license is up to date, you have your driver's license, your car is pretty roadworthy, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of a drop on a car. I don't know what the law says, but if a car is a little bit dropped, I get that. There shouldn't be any problems with a car that is driving and the tires aren't even tucking. It's not even like level with like the fender. When it's tucking heavy and you are scraping on the floor and you can't go over a speed bump, I think that's the problem. Look at this guy. You're not displaying a triangle, sir. Your hazards isn't on, sir. Nothing. Okay, you see there? Okay, breaking the laws. Breaking the laws there. If you're now breaking the rules, they will impound your car. I know they're doing it so strictly and so quickly just so they can get everybody in line. That's pretty much what it is to scare the crap out of the rest of us. And JP, give it to him, eh? He caused a scene. His mouth went viral, this man, with his Facebook post. And look at that, it's green. I don't know what you're waiting for, lady. Okay, there you go. It's been green probably for 2 minutes now. Oh, yes, still going. So yeah, so that's just my little bit of venting this morning. I did it with you with a drive along, so you can also see the state of our roads and the state of our people. Look at this. It says no U-turn here. Look at it. All the taxis just U-turning on the green robot with the people coming. Look at that. Look at that. No traffic officers here. Nothing. Why? You tell me why. They do that all day here. If I'm coming from the other side this way, then I have to stop for taxis that are doing U-turns. But you know, that's okay. That's fine. Not breaking any rules there. That's apparently there are some rules that is fine to break, I guess. You know, some rules that can be broken that are totally okay. Oh, like me now, just going a bit cheeky over there. But anyways, some rules that can be broken a little bit, and then some rules that can't be broken. I think, guys, if we're gonna park up, I don't think there's any rules that says you can't have your number plate on your car when the car is standing still. So long you have one number plate on, I think you're good, so that they can identify the car in the dusk, not have any sort of issues. But yeah, I think for now, guys, yeah. Okay, I'm almost at work again.
6.5 hours later.
Laat ons hoor wat JP has to say. Laat ons hoor.
Safety within the city of Cape Town. JP, good morning.
Morning, Aiden.
Thanks very much for your time. How are you this morning, sir?
I'm excellent. Yourself, sir?
No complaints. Absolutely no complaints. It's been a while since we've spoken. People taking issue with the implementation of a new bit of legislation. Just talk me through the legislation and what it aims to do. Perhaps before we get to the comment, let's understand what's at play here.
So the city previously in 2010 had a traffic bylaw. That bylaw permitted us to replicate some of the provisions of the National Road Traffic Act in our bylaw. The Constitution in Schedule 4 and 5B, 4B and 5B, gives local government the power to make laws about certain things. One of the things referenced in Schedule 5B is traffic and parking laws. And so for the city of Cape Town, there is a traffic bylaw, in this traffic bylaw, there are new provisions that are similar to that or the same as that of the National Act, but there are also provisions that are additional. Cell phones, where people drive with cell phones.
I felt that time.
What is possibly one of the most dangerous things you can do on the road, distracted driving. And that has now been expanded in the 2021 bylaw, which, as you can see, was passed a year and a half ago, which we have warned people on social media and in media statements that it is coming and that the enforcement of will take effect in due course, and that due course is in the start of this new financial year in July, and that provides for the provision of the impoundment of vehicles where, in a number of cases where the vehicle is driven in a reckless and negligent manner, where the vehicle is unroadworthy and unsafe to be on the road, where the driver is under the influence of alcohol or drugs, where the driver fails to stop when the authorized official in uniform tells the driver to halt and the driver tries to race away or escape. And then a couple of other provisions relating to things like not having a driver's license, not having an operating permit if you're a public transport operator, or operating contrary to the conditions of those, not having number plates, not having a licensed disc, or in the case, of course, where the vehicle is abandoned. So those are the reasons for which the vehicle may be impounded. It's not for every offence, it's for a very specific range of offences where we can see that the application of the Traffic Act as it normally is not impacting on driver behaviour, because the fine, a 500 Rand fine for not having a number plate, is too limited to make a person care about the number plate. It is easier to take your number plates off, as we saw with the Velcro
500 is a lot of money.
Stuff that people do, where they then take the number plates off when they go racing or if they feel like driving recklessly, and then if they get caught, it's only 500 Rand.
Understand, my argument is only for front number plates. I think the rear number plate should always be displayed. Always.
All of this on the face of it sounds very reasonable. What feedback have you had? Because this is the interesting thing. I'm sitting here with a range of feedback, and I'll play some of it to you in a second. But what have you heard? What has the city had by way of feedback?
As with these things, mixed. It depends on who you speak to and how well people are informed on the matter. Because of course, as soon as something happens, a number of people start interpreting it for other people and planting ideas that often don't match the facts. But I have a significant number of people I engage with on Facebook and social media and WhatsApp, and there have been, I would say, 5% negative, 95% positive, but those I admit are probably people who, by and large, admire and appreciate and endorse the rule of law and want to see safe roads.
I want to see safe roads.
People who are within the street racing community are very antagonized by this, but with respect, we have gone out of our way to create legal spaces for people to race on this race.
No, you haven't.
And the law, it has never been legal to race on the
street. No, you haven't. Make more days a kilometer, make more days.
For doing so in
cheaper.
The first place. And so the fact that a person who wants to break the law in that manner is angry about the bylaw is not something that should concern me or primarily the portfolio committee who wrote and passed it. I am just the person who has to ensure that it is implemented. It is in this case a multi-party portfolio committee who passed the bylaw.
All right, let's listen. I hear everything you say. I'd like Cape Town to hear everything you say at the same time. And this is some of the feedback we've had in reaction to the new amendments.
Good morning, guys. I absolutely love what they're doing now. There are way too many people that are disobeying traffic rules. Rules are rules. Thank you so much, Aidan. Have a good day, guys. Bye.
I don't know if this is open for discussion, but I'm not for it simply because the people that's gonna implement the law. Look, our constitution in terms of the world is one of the best in the world, right? But the implementation of it is wrong. Same with those laws. It doesn't be subjective. The traffic officer, he doesn't like the way you look. I mean, because we're all human at the end of the day. He doesn't like the way you look. Like, oh, where is the evidence? You know what I mean? Like if he says you drove over like a red light, you know what I mean? But it was orange. Like where do you draw the line? That's not an infringement. You know what I mean? So who draws the line? Where do you draw? That's too much. Exactly. At the end of the day, all this money's going to go to the government to do what?
Same like that.
Still, so no, ek stem nie saam nie. It's a bietjie too, it's too invasive and it's going to be too strict. in terms of the interpretation. Is it a blanket approach? Is there room for, almost bribery? Anyway.
Is there room for bribery? Yeah, right.
Yeah, good morning, Aiden and team.
Also, versus people a
My
voice
thoughts on
noting
this
it while
is,
they are driving just a panel.
if your car is not roadworthy, then it's a danger to other people using the road. So I'm fully for it. But not take it for any stupid thing, you know. So
What's are they going to do? Roadworthy tests on the
must
road.
be for something that your car is not roadworthy, or I mean, you know, not road legal, or whatever like that, because you are not obeying the law and obeying the rules of the road. So I'm totally for it. Well done. Should have
I'm
been
totally for
done
like
long
getting
ago.
unroadworthy cars,
So
unlicensed
does
cars,
that mean that we're
unlicensed
going to see
drivers.
more taxis impounded and less taxis as that's driving without license, without PDP, and also
That's
not
uncle.
roadworthy?
That's uncle.
Okay.
Just this morning I
Just
saw
a
taxis without
smattering.
lights.
I mean, people and there are themes that come through, JP, in the feedback there. Some people see this as a money-making thing. There I'm looking at some WhatsApps. They say it's all about the money. Clearly
These
they
to the
they
front number
impounding
plates
cars
already.
and it's all for money. I mean, just talk me through that, because people feel a little hard done by almost at the amounts that are being bandied about. 10,000 rand to get your car out of.
How much is it really to get your car? Comment down
Is that
below
number
if
even
you
right in the first place?
if your
No,
car is
it's
in pound, how much it was.
2,500. That's why I cautioned about people interpreting the truth for other people.
Yeah.
So 2,500. It can't be a money-making thing, because the Safety and Security Directorate doesn't get any of the money that comes in from fines or impoundment. It goes into the city general budget. It's a pittance of our budget. We make 200 million rand fines a year. It's significantly smaller than Joburg, and the total city budget is 70 billion. It's almost inconsequential amount in the bigger scheme of what it takes to run a city. So no, it is not money making. That money doesn't come back. There's no such thing as a bonus for officers or anything.
They must pay their bonuses.
And then pound one vehicle, then pound 100 vehicle.
Yeah, what are
It
those?
makes no difference to them or to the department's bottom line. We do impound a lot of taxis. I think if you look at about 10 years ago, we were impounding 300 taxis a year. At the moment, we're impounding between 900 and 1,000.
That sounds very low.
A month. And the only thing that stops us from doing more is the fact that our pounds are all full to capacity. So we're
Get more
building
impounds.
additional vehicle pounds now
Get more impounds.
to accommodate the taxis. So we've
Get more
really
impounds.
laid on the law on them, and we've been doing
So
that
what
for
now?
a year,
That's so because now
long
it's full,
before
you're
we
not
got
going
to
to
the
impound
private
cars.
vehicles.
What the hell is that
It won't
nonsense?
affect things like going through a traffic light. There is an existing offence for that. That is a fine you're going to get. That's not reckless and negligent endangerment. Reckless and negligent driving.
It is when you're driving over a red road and there's
requires
cars coming on the other way, but you still
far
keep
more
going. That's
significant
reckless and
level
negligent.
of
I'm very sorry.
disregard for the law and multiple offences and great and excessive speed at the point where you're being exceedingly reckless before it's reckless and negligent driving, and only at that point.
Yeah, but
does it
doing
become a
15 or
crime. Also, going
30
over
by
a
a
traffic
school,
light,
that's
for
reckless and
instance,
negligent. That's not
will
speeding,
cause you
but
to
it's
get the
reckless.
fine as you did in the past, and not that. The number plates
The
issue
law is very vague.
is for me a particular bugbear and for many people. We get hundreds of complaints about people driving without number plates, often very affluent vehicles. So it's not the case that the person is indigent and that their car is dilapidated and the number plate
Affluent
fell off.
vehicles.
They can't afford
Does
it.
he mean
These are people
Ferraris?
with extremely affluent vehicles who choose to remove the number plate. And so the key issue there is that
But I want to drill into their 458 bumpers, man.
I plan to circumvent the law. I plan to defeat the ends of justice. And I purposely do something to be an offender. There one must have
Then
I
make
suspect,
sticker
very little
number
sympathy
plates,
for a person
Like
because you're a
vinyl sticker number
premeditated
plates. What's
offender.
wrong with that?
All right. Tara?
And the license disc.
Yeah, Tara's very worried about her license disc.
Because it's probably expired.
Usually wait till the last minute, and I was under the impression that there's a little bit of a grace period. So if a traffic officer comes and my license disc is like a day expired, before
shouldn't
I
write
put
it.
on the next license
They
disc,
shouldn't be
will
giving
my
you
car be
tickets for-
impounded?
Please impound her car.
I don't know. No, ma'am. That is not likely to happen. So you have a 30 day.
30 days. Oh, I thought it was 15 days grace period.
You will pay for that 30 days when you renew it. It is added to the calculation of the cost. But
Yeah.
the impoundment of a vehicle for not having a license only kicks in after 90 days. So what I can do is you
When
can
you say
either
not
find
license,
the,
expired
bylaw
license?
on the city website. As I said, it was passed in
On no
2021.
disc.
Or if one of you WhatsApp me quickly, I can forward it to you via WhatsApp, and you can post it for your listeners so that they may be fully appraised. And I think when everybody sees what the actual facts of it are, it will have many more supporters. And in a year's time, or in 2 years' time,
JP, you gotta
when
come
we
on the
have
channel and have a chat, bro.
further
You gotta
major
come on the
decrease
channel and
deaths
have
on
a
the
chat.
road,
Why
then
not?
Instead
Guys,
of having
blow
lost
up.
2,000
JP's
people a
WhatsApp
year,
here,
we
must come
used
have a
to,
chat.
we're now only losing around 1,000 people, a little bit more than 1,000 people a year, because of what we've done over the last decade. If we manage to drive those figures down even more, and we stop the carnage and slaughter on our roads, and fewer people are dying. Some people
Guaranteed a
who are listening
percentage
now
of that
may
is
have a
deaths
wife,
in
a
taxi-related
husband,
accidents.
a child, a
I'll
parent
put my
who
money
comes
on that.
home one day who would have been dead otherwise because of somebody's driving behavior, which in the meantime we have changed because we've been more assertive with the law.
Talk to me about car enthusiasts and the things like suspension and modifications. People are, I mean, I'm looking at a lot of people coming through saying, what's the deal? We're making our cars look nice.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with breaking the law. What's the take on that one?
So this is the issue of whether a vehicle is roadworthy if it's been altered. In fact, here I'm on the side of the street races. I think if your vehicle is altered in a manner where the vehicle is not unsafe, I don't have a problem with the aesthetics of a vehicle. I'm only interested in how you drive the vehicle. If you have a beautiful car and you've done funky stuff to it, and you've altered the stance of the vehicle, there's no problem for me. The problem is in how the National Act is written. The National Act says that the vehicle is only roadworthy if it is in its original format. In other words, conforms to the SAVS standards.
Yeah,
Once
but
you alter the vehicle, you can no longer prove that vehicle is roadworthy, and by definition, it is not. We have proposed a solution or work around this. I have proposed to the previous provincial minister, and I've encouraged the stance community to reach out to the new provincial minister, Ricardo McKenzie. He's a very reasonable, rational, helpful guy.
Bring him also with you when you come.
Put additional regulations in the Provincial Traffic Act that allows for a vehicle whose stance has been altered to be certified by a mechanical engineer to say, I deem this vehicle still to be
Then why
conforming
not
to
put
the
those
standards
engineers
SAVS
at the
standards,
roadworthy
and
stations?
therefore the vehicle remains roadworthy. And that to put such a mechanism in the new Provincial Traffic Act regs, which they are busy working on, and that will solve this problem once and for all, because it's a debate that I don't want to have. I'm not interested in antagonizing that community, and I have no beef with them. I myself once owned a car, a muscle car that I was very much in love with, and used to drive around in, and I have friends who are huge vehicle enthusiasts who like modding vehicles, and who have had to have this debate with, sadly, as well.
All right. Quickly, outstanding fines. I mean, does your car get impounded if you pull up at the roadblock? You've got an
like
arm
10
list of fines outstanding. Do they take your car?
No, sir. No. How the criminal justice system works is that if you have fines that are outstanding, that's just a fine. The fact that the person earlier asked a very reasonable question, he said, who adjudicates this? Well, remember, we're rolling out dash cams and body cams on all of our offices now. So for starters, there's a camera recording of what happened. So there's a final arbiter when you appeal. But firstly, when the officer charges you, that's not the end of the matter.
Guys, when dash cams come out and you're catching on nonsense, I'm sorry. You can't argue with
I am not interested in, I don't believe I should be paying this fine. I'm making representation. You can appear in court on the day specified and argue why you should not get the fine. And then the fine may well be withdrawn or reduced. And so that's your rights in terms of the criminal justice system. That's why there's a system. The officer's verdict is not the final one. And so that's how that works. If you don't appear in court, then the court, which is a system of national government, is not one that we control, issues a warrant for arrest. It's called a contempt of court warrant. And that says you fail to appear in court, you're in contempt of court now. Here, City of Cape Town, go and find this person wherever they are and arrest them and bring them to the court to face the court appearance they were meant to do. And that is then where the warrant of arrest comes in, and where our reclaim team go out and look for people at their place of work, their place of home, or on the street. And the dash cam we've installed in the vehicles is going to make that obviously a lot easier, as it does around the world, because all those number plates are on that system. It's got ANPR, automated number plate recognition.
That you read from the
it'll be
rear,
looking
of
for
course,
those
most of the time.
vehicles with outstanding
The
warrants
rear,
attached
just
to
so
them.
by the way.
That is how it works across the planet, and that's also why it is important that the number plates be affixed to the vehicle so that people who do offend can be held accountable.
Absolutely. Listen, we could go on for a lot longer. I've taken way more of your time than you and I had agreed on things. So
yeah, I think when you're breaking the law like blatantly, then you
You can get a
should
message
be
out to them
fine.
if they're listening. They're fighting with the wrong guy. I'm not the enemy here. The problem is with the national legislation. They must go fight with the national minister of transport. The national act is the problem.
Yes,
And
but
I
you
think
guys
there
can
is a
change the
workaround
law,
in
so
provincial legislation, and they
also
must please reach
give
out
us
to
a little
MEC
bit of help
McKenzie and go and sit down with him and see how we can alter this. And I've said that to people in the last month.
good stuff. I'm going to park it there for this morning.
he's gonna park it. Hey, I don't know, guys. Comment down below what are your thoughts. Yeah, that's about it.